All right, guys, we are live with Chad Hardin.
Hey,
Chad Hardin is I guess at this point, a veteran DC artist, or artist in general, most notably for DC, I believe, at least to me. Um, and you have a nice little project that you're here to talk about. But before we get to that, I kind of want to talk a little bit about your art journey, as it were. What are you know when did you kind of, I guess, what is one of the first things you remember drawing?
one of the first things I remember drawing, uh, my dad and my aunt Shirley took me to Star Wars when I was like 3.5 years old
Mm-hmm.
at the Las Vegas Drive-In, which doesn't exist anymore. And I went and saw Star Wars, and all of a sudden it was just like I went home and it was R2D2 and C3PO, and I probably drew Star Wars till I was 12, and then I saw like the Amazing Spider-Man on Saturday morning cartoons. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it was like Spider-Man. Like so it went from like Star Wars, Spider-Man, and then like Justice League. What do they call it? Justice League. It was like Superman and his Amazing Friends or something like that. You know what I mean? Super Friends. It was Super Friends. And so then it was Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. And then when I was 16, and this is the funny thing, like I loved the characters from the cartoons, and then like when I was 16, my friend was like, "I'm going to take you to a comic book store," and I was like, "Oh shit!" Like going into Valhalla, dude. And I remember picking up Arthur Adams' X-Men annual. God, was it 10 the X Babies in Mojo World? Do you remember that one?
Yeah, actually, we just
was
had
it,
that one
was
over
it
here.
10 or was it 12?
I want to say it was 12 because I think 14 was the Gambit. 10?
Was it 10?
What it was? Greg says it was 10.
Hot damn. Okay. So
right. Good memory, sir.
So I saw that comic and I was like, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. And I'm going to tell you something. So the other day, Arthur Adams liked one of my Instagram posts, and I was like, didn't say a word till now, but like I was like, oh shit, yeah, and it's funny. Like I went to a convention. I sat next to Arthur Adams and Joyce. Joyce is his wife.
Yeah,
and we're in Stockton, California, and I'm just like, play cool, dude. Like don't because there have been shows when I was a kid. There were shows when Arthur Adams saw me coming, like he would just like book it. You know what I mean? He's like, dude, I'm on break. I cannot sign every single Arthur Adams card. Like, I don't know if you remember this, but like Arthur Adams had cards.
I don't so much remember the Art Adam cards. I remember the Jim Lees, and I remember the Justcos, and all that. But yeah,
So like, dude. But anyway, I've just been in it ever since. Been into comics. I was there. Okay, so you talked to, okay, so a big, huge Marvel fan, and then I didn't understand the whole like Marvel and DC were like two different companies, and they all weren't in the same universe. I thought like comics were comics, and like everybody was in the same universe. And so, but I was in it like a great time. Like I was a teenager. Frank Miller's stuff was coming out. Alan Moore's stuff was coming out. So I mean, you talk about Batman. Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns, Alan Moore's Killing Joke, Watchmen, like all this stuff was coming out, and I was like right there for it. And Todd McFarlane's Spider-Man, Jim Lee's X-Men, Mark Silvestri's X-Men. I mean, it was like the best time to like walk into a comic store and like discover that stuff, because it was just like, and I was just like, this is what I want to do. This is it. And through my life, like literally through my life at it, I worked at a comic book store, quit to go on a mission. We talked about, being raised LDS, came back. And now this is what's interesting too, though. Like when I came back, I knew that if I wanted to work in comics, I had to move to New York. And this was before the freaking internet. Like, I know kids today, like, what? Like, my students cannot comprehend a world where you can't get on a computer and mail shit to someone and they get it instantaneously. And I'm like, yeah, it used to be you had to like be there, like physically be there. And I didn't know anyone in New York. I didn't know where the Marvel publishing, things were. And so it's like I had this desire, but I had zero means. I mean, I was a poor, dumb kid,
Yeah.
And then I came back off my mission, and all of a sudden, the internet is like, yeah, you just email to them. I'm like, oh shit, okay, we're gonna do this, And I sent submissions for 10 years, man. I sent submissions to Marvel and DC, to Image, to everybody. And it's one of the reasons why I like absolutely love Todd McFarlane. You know what I mean? Because Todd's just like, don't give up, dude. You just ignore that shit and keep going. So from the time I was like 20 to the time I was 30, it took me 10 years to break in. Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I wasn't sitting on my butt with my, thumb up my rear. I'm trying to go back into teacher mode here for a second. School's been out and I've just been like, put the the sailor swearing hat back on. But I worked in video games. I worked in advertising, so I was doing art professionally. I did a ton of video game packaging art. I've worked on like God of War, Ratchet and Clank, Jack and Daxter, and I had a really good time doing all that. But I was always doing comics. And then one day, I was like, you know what? I just want to do a comic, and I got on digital webbing. I don't know if you remember digital webbing. With Ed Dukeshire, it was like an online forum, and you could go there and you could talk about comics and you could post your artwork, and then it was a nice place for like creators, writers to meet artists, and then just say, hey, let's do something, and Ed saw my stuff and put me on Fist of Justice. Now I was working full time for an ad company when he was like, do you want to do this comic? And I can't remember how many issues I did of Fist of Justice, but it was like the second I actually did a comic, all of a sudden it was just like away I went, because we did digital webbing, and then Boom Calls, and then after Boom Calls, it just sort of went up from there, and then you start working for DC, and then Marvel's, Marvel. This is how Marvel recruits. They just read DC comics and they're like, okay, let's call this guy and steal him. And you know what? I mean, I have to admit, man, like growing up reading Marvel comics, I was like, okay, let's do it. But DC always had like a better deal. Like they were always willing to pay me more. They were always willing to just sort of, put me on the bigger projects with the bigger names.
Yeah.
And so I just sort of, and I'm not kidding you. One time I had a Marvel editor, we were talking about page rates, and they were really far off. And my Marvel editor was like, yeah, but we're cooler. I was like, I so don't give a shit. Like that is the word.
Cool doesn't keep my lights on, dude.
I know. No, cool does not pay the bills. Yeah, exactly. So anyway, DC always just treated me better. And so that's where I stayed. And then Harley happened. Like, oh my God. That was like treating. You ever watch UHF with where they turn on the fire hose and they take a sip from the fire hose? Dude, that, so it's so funny because like there's so many people that think that Harley was my first book, and there's a lot of that was a little bit like, okay, so DC had this weird contest. Do you remember the whole toaster bathtub controversy?
Well, this thing here, this is the contest is where what you're synonymous with, I guess. That is where what everybody relates you to is the contest.
Yeah, but this is the funny thing.
I related you to.
I never did the contest. Like DC was like, yeah, you're doing this book. And so there's so many people that think that like that was the first time I'd ever done a comic because I won the contest. It's like, no, no, like I knew this was happening. Anyway, it was just weird.
Are you trying to say it was a rigged ass contest? Is that
no? The contest is that you could do pages for the book, and they would put your pages in, and they did do that. But the joke is that they would never give someone a book like Harley without them having like some industry experience. Like if you read, like it was a clever writing device that Jimmy and Amanda did. Okay, so like I understood why they were doing it and what they were saying, and it makes sense. If you actually read the comic, it makes sense. Like the whole issue 0 of Harley is Harley trying to pick the artist of who's going to be on her book, and all it is Jimmy and Amanda's, what they went through trying to get an artist for that book, because everybody they approached, everybody in there was someone that they approached, and for whatever reason or not, it didn't work out, and I guess I was the guy that was like, heck, and I love Batman the Animated Series, so I was a Harley fan. I was a Harley fan. Okay, so I wasn't a huge DC guy, but I was a huge Batman guy, and so like Batman, Joker, Harley, all of those were like top tier characters for me. And when they asked me, I was like, yes, absolutely, and it blew up. I mean, and nobody thought it would. Okay, I mean, I remember talking to my editors, and they're like, yeah, you'll probably be canceled around issue 20. This is what we expect. And they were, and I was like, oh no. I'm like, we're doing this. And it was cool, like Jimmy and Amanda, Jimmy was like, oh yeah. Like you tell Jimmy he's gonna do okay on a book, like Jimmy will write 175 issues. Like how many issues of Jonah Hex did Jimmy do? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, a Western comic in 2000, whatever. Yeah. And how many issues did he do? So anyway, it was one of those things where it's like we knew that it was going to be awesome, and it was awesome, and we're just glad the fans thought so as well. And I'll say this too. I think the reason why it did well is we were the only comic that DC had that had jokes in it. That was it. I mean, like all the other DC comics were, serious as a heart attack, and we were willing to make fun of ourselves, and people loved it. People loved it,
and it kind of resonates with a lot of people. I mean, with the nonstop action you have, like in X-Men and Avengers books, and then you have that Deadpool to kind of offset that, and even a Squirrel Girl, who's really not even really appealing to most people, except for the fact that it does have a little bit of tongue in cheek and more of a PG humor. That book does well for what it is, for the character. Right. And then you got Harley, which is just straight, I mean, psychotic humor to a degree. Yeah. So I mean I can see it doing well. I see why it does well, because people want that separation from the other stuff.
Yeah, a lot of Harley was nothing but wish fulfillment. Like we all want to choke out the guy that cuts us off in traffic. We all want someone to swallow their teeth if they abuse an animal, right? You know what I'm saying? And that's all it was. It was like, okay, I mean, go back and read that comic. It was just like, this is what we want to do with the annoying people. And Harley, and Harley always delivered like a horrible justice, Yeah. So it was sort of like a catharsis, it was an outlet for because
all that shit you dreamt about doing that you really couldn't talk to anyone about because they'd look at you like you were fucking crazy,
or you go to jail. I mean, let's face it. You go to jail. I mean, oh gosh.
104 issues between Jonah Hex and All Star Western.
There's 104 for a Western.
That is
in the 21st century. Okay, don't tell Jimmy. Don't, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I'll see him in a few weeks. We'll
and Jimmy and Amanda are just, I don't know if you guys have ever met, but
No, I haven't had the opportunity to meet them. They live like 3 hours from me, but
they're just two of the best people you're ever going to meet.
Yeah, Greg's met them.
Genuinely, like the best people on the planet.
Yeah.
I've never met anyone that cares more about people than Jimmy does. If there's someone who needs help, he's there. Yeah. Anyway, you'll find out when you talk to him.
I think Greg. I remember at MegaCon one time. Not to get off of Chad Hardin, but I do remember at MegaCon one time, he had said something like he had gotten not saying upset, but he had made a comment either through tweet or through something that the celebrities were treated so well and the artists were just kind of, an afterthought in his in that instance opinion at the time from Fan Expo, I guess. I'm not saying that that's his feelings now, but so, and I think, was it you, Greg, that offered him a damn granola bar and a beer or something or something?
Yeah, he said bring beer, so we brought beer.
Yeah, so Greg brought beer. He's like, because they didn't get the green room and all that other stuff. So Greg brought him a beer.
Yeah. Well, and it's really funny. Like, I've been to every kind of show, and there are some shows that they just have a green room, and you're in there with everybody else, and everything's fine. Everything's fine. Do you know what I mean? Like, nobody's in there like trying to get an autograph or take a picture or you know what I mean? Like, and who knows? Maybe there were some comic creators that didn't get that memo. Like, hey, you need to check yourself. I don't know. But I've been to shows that have taken us and put us in a room. Their green room was a water cooler and a closet, and you're just like, what the fuck? You're just like, what? like don't even just say, we don't got one. Do you know what I mean? Or just say, like, you're not invited. But to take you to a room, anyway. So I
like Planet Comic Con. I like Chris Jackson, the guy who runs Planet Comic Con in Kansas City. His approach is, you're all important. You're all going to sit together.
I got a story. I'm not going to tell it though. I like Chris. I love Chris.
Yeah, he's a good dude. I was excited to go there, because I'm from there. Okay. He told me, I'm like, so what's the green room? He's like, because I told him I was from there. He goes, well, we fill the green room with beans from Jack Stack Barbecue. I said, fucking sold.
Yeah. One of these days I'll remind me and I'll tell you that story, but not when we're broadcasting. But I have a great story from Planet Comic Con. But, I love Chris. He is a genuinely good person. I wish he'd invite me to go play poker with him because I know that's a passion of his. But anyway, I got a story. But
so I guess let's talk a little bit why you're here. You have something that you're well, I'll let you explain it.
So why? Okay, well, I guess it's been about a year ago. We launched The Art of Chad Hardin, Volume 1 and 2, and that was my first Kickstarter. That was like my first dipping of a toe into crowdfunding, and I don't know why I didn't learn not to do it from because like right now I am so filled with anxiety right now over this. And the first time it went fine. And it did better than I expected. And we had a little problem. We chose like a really crappy survey, and we had a little problem with fulfillment. 74% of our backers got their stuff early. 90% of our backers got their stuff on time, but 10% went almost like completely sideways, and it was horrible because of the survey we chose. But it's time to do it again. I got a ton of new art. Matter of fact, I got so much stupid art. We had 120 pages in this book, and we're just like, okay, we got to edit it down. We got to edit it down. And when I say we, I have a former student of mine named Jimmy Young who does. She's amazing. She does all my graphic design, and she's one of these kids that when she's on a computer, her hands are moving so fast it's like a blur. And you're like, God, goddamn, sold. You know what I mean? Like, like, because if I'm doing, I'm like, like a monkey with a stick can't figure out how to get it to work. But Jim is just like speed of thought. Anyway, so she gets it all ready for me, and we launched, and we decided to do this one, and it's time, and we've been planning this forever, and we felt, we pushed it because of COVID. We felt like, now's not the time, and then oh shoot, sorry, I should have turned that off. Let me turn it off right now.
Is that them again?
No. I get like 50 spam calls a day, and the only reason why I had it turned on is because I was expecting to talk with Brian's team, and then lo and behold, so the spam calls come in. But anyway,
calls from the National Grid Electric in Massachusetts. Do you ever get calls from them? Because I do, and I live in Florida, and I don't understand it.
you know what it is? It's all the people in Florida that want me to come to Florida to like vacation. It's like all the Caribbean cruise people. I'm not kidding you, because I bought a cruise once.
Oh.
Like, if you ever do a cruise,
your phone before you go on a cruise next time, give them that number.
You're not lying, and anymore, you better do it when you go to Vegas. You better do it when you. I mean, if anybody's like, "Will you fill out this survey?" You just like go fuck yourself, like get out, because they're just going to spam call you for the rest of your life, But anyway,
yeah, like back here.
I am selling the crap out of this Kickstarter, right? Anyway, so back to the book. A lot of what I do, and I think this is true for a lot of comic book artists. You have your page rate. You have what you earn from doing interiors and covers, and then you have your direct interaction with your fans. Well, when COVID hit, all of a sudden, all my direct interaction with my fans was gone. I missed out on C2E2, and then every convention since C2E2 is kaput. And so there's a big part of me that's like, you got to wait until this is over. But I mean, then they started talking about like, well, this might not be over for a couple of years. And you're just like, well, shit,
I've been looking outside. I think it's over, or I think they just don't come.
Well, see, and then and then look at what's going on now, and you're just like going, okay, I guess if I'm waiting for the world to be right for me to launch this, it's just never going to happen. So
yeah. That's
charge of the light brigade. You know what I mean? Like, okay, I'm on my cavalry horse. I got my saber out, and I'm charging the cannons. I know how this is going to end, but I'm doing it anyway. Because I mean, you gotta. And
so, what's the name of your project?
It's the Art of Chad Hardin Volume 3.
Okay.
And it's basically, it's a collection of all of, like my best commissions, covers, all the good stuff that basically you don't really get to see because it's not being published by a big publisher. Mm-hmm. And so otherwise it's just going to stay on my phone. As a matter of fact, and that's how the first two started, is Jim was like, just give me your phone. And then she just took all the pictures off my phone of all the commissions. And then, and that's how it started. And so this is a continuation of this. So it's something where it's like, I miss that interaction with my fans. I want them to have something online. I haven't seen them. And the timing might be horrible, and I apologize, but we just got to do it anyway and hope that it works out. So, right?
Yeah, I'm looking up right now, trying to find the
URL.
Yeah.
Let me see. Let me see if I can get on Facebook real quick and send that link to you real quick.
So I got the volume 1 and 2 popped up.
Yeah, let me. So right now, the Kickstarter is not live.
Okay.
What we go live tomorrow, but Kickstarter has a new feature that allows you to follow a project before launch.
Yeah.
So the second it's ready to launch, now I just copied it. Let me paste it. Paste. All right, here we go. All right, see if that works. And so what happens? Hopefully, when we launch, everybody's like ready to go. And we launch tomorrow. I got butterflies in my stomach, and I anticipate they'll be there for a month.
So let's talk a little bit about some of the pledge tiers that you have. What do you have?
Yeah, let me go back and say just had it up.
So I'm assuming you probably have your standard $5. I believe in this project, but I don't want anything from you. Here, take my money. Back,
Yeah.
like most people have.
Right. Oh gosh, why is it asking for my password right now? Okay, here we go. So let me. I wonder if could I share my screen on this?
You can. There's if your thing looks like mine does, there should be a share screen down at the bottom.
Let's see. Oh, here we go. All right, cross your fingers and let's hope this works.
Close all your browser windows before we do this.
All my browser windows are okay.
Sorry,
I've been married for 23 years. My browser windows are clean. Let's see. Let me see if I can figure this out. Screen sharing is the easiest with 2 monitors. Okay, that makes sense. On a good computer, that makes sense. Some screens let you share audio. Okay, share screen. Here we go. We're gonna press this button. All right. Let's see. Oh, I like this Chrome tab. Here we go. Boom. Let's see if this works.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So I'm going to pop this up into the feed here. And there we go. So here is the Kickstarter.
Wait, hold on. Let's see. Edit. Hold on. All right. I need to come back here and I need to share a different screen. Let's see. Let's see. Stop screen share. I'm going to try this again. I went to the wrong one. I had 2 Kickstarter ones open. So let's see. Here we go. Share screen. And then Chrome tab. And then here I go. This is going to work. All right. So I'm going to pull this over here so I can see you. It should still do that.
No, you got to see me. I'm not that good looking.
All right. No, it's working. Okay. So let's talk about it. So now I do want to say this much. This is going to change. We have a $2 pledge right now. We have to up it, and I'm going to tell you why. Because we're going to do a professional survey, and with the surveys, the survey that we're going with, they charge by the backer. So if I don't, so some of these prices are going to change a little bit. So if we go to launch tomorrow and you see this, and the $2 pledge is now like a $6 pledge, don't be surprised. It might still be 2, okay? Yeah. But some of these are going to go. And the other reason why the prices are going to change is Utah just passed a bill that charges a 7.5% tax on all internet sales in the state of Utah. So
okay,
I know
that's within the state of Utah.
In the state of Utah, so they come after the people selling, and I'm selling. Anyway, my wife's an accountant, or I'd be in jail already. Okay, you know what I mean? I'd be right in there with Martha, making toilet wine. But anyway,
it's a Merlot.
So back to the tiers. We got a $2, just like a $2 pledge, which gives you access to the Backer Kit store or whichever. I don't. We're still on the fence whether we're going to do Backer Kit or CrowdOx. We're going to figure that out tonight.
I know a lot of people have made a switch to Backer Kit. or no, I'm sorry, to CrowdOx for whatever reason. It's the one I'm seeing going around a lot more. And I think if I heard correctly, it's what did you say, Greg? What someone had told you it's like 75 cents a backer?
Yes.
Something to that effect, or and it's just I don't know. It from what I've seen, all the heavy hitters use that one. So
yeah. And there's a reason, but this is the great thing about a free market economy. So you had Backer Kit, and then CrowdOx came, and now Backer Kit's actually changed their numbers again to like compete with CrowdOx. So now we're back on the fence again. Do you know what I mean? We're like going, what are we going to do? Anyway, let's talk about.
Yeah. Well, we squirrel a lot.
So anyway, digital art book, $8. All 3 digital art books. Okay, because like I said, we had the volume 1 and 2, and there's a lot of people that didn't know about volume 1 and 2, which is surprising to me because I mean, when you pitch something for 30 days straight, because that's what crowdfunding is. I'm getting up on stage and I'm doing a tap dance, and all I want to do is draw. Okay, so you're taking an introvert and making him be an extrovert for like 30 days, and it's nerve-wracking. But anyway. There's people out there that have no clue that I already did a volume 1 and 2. So you can get all 3 digital art books for $15. The hardcover book is $35. Okay. And then we got the signed book plus the exclusive print. Here's some of the artwork. Okay. So some of these are golden oldies. Like I would consider this page right here sort of like a golden oldie page, but I also have some of my new stuff. Can you see my cursor? Oh, it doesn't show my cursor. So right down here towards the bottom, you can see like some of my new Harley commissions, stuff that I've done for Mark May's Hellbringers, which is a collectible card game. Mark and I are buddies, go back a ways. Got some of my Wonder Woman stuff. A lot of people don't know that after Harley did some Wonder Woman with Jimmy and Amanda. I have commissions. Okay. This is really popular. This is probably my most popular tier. Because what I do is I take the book, I open it up, and I do just a small little quick personalized sketch right in the front cover. And last time we sold a ton of these. Okay. Yeah. So make sure you follow because this is the stuff that goes really fast. The commissions go fast. So if you're and right now my commission list is closed. I'm doing nothing right now but making sure that every commission I have is finished before this thing goes live. Do you know what I mean? Because I hate having 2 things going on at once. I gotta have one thing going on. So if you've been struggling to get on my commission list, make sure you get in there. Let's see. Markup, hardcover print. We got a retailer package. This is a big deal, because this is the only way to get it. I'm not going through Diamond. I don't know anyone at Midtown. So this is the only way to get it. If you're a retailer, we got a retailer package for you. All 3 books signed with the print, and then we have the bust commission, which is the remarks are almost like a 10-minute sketch. Okay. Yeah. The bust commission's like an hour long sketch, and then I have the full body commission. Okay. Mm-hmm. And that's it. It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward, and then we
got stretch goals and whatnot involved.
Yes, we got stretch goals. Here, let me scroll down. Okay. So right now, if we get down, if we do 10,000, everybody gets a digital copy, and then that way, when the campaign's over, everybody gets a digital copy of the book instantaneously. Okay. 15,000, we got an extra 8x10 print. 20,000, we're going to do foil printing on the cover. Ooh. And this is the big one. This is where I want to be. Okay. The coloring book. So everything that I have in my Art of Chad Hardin volume 1 and 2, or 1, 2, and 3. Well, I'm sorry, everything that I had in 3 that is basically line art that's not colored, we're making it into like an adult colored book. Okay.
Nice.
And when I say adult, I mean I'm not saying it's X-rated. I'm saying it,
it's not really marketed towards children.
Right, exactly. So
Yeah.
But anyway, that's the big enchilada. And then we'll add as we go. If we hit that, then we'll just keep adding tiers. That's, I'm hoping we get to 25. That'd be great. That'd be fan. I'd be over the moon.
So what if some reason maybe your projections are wrong and COVID hasn't killed everything and you smash into 50? Or do you have plans for potential other stretch goals, or you'll figure that out as you come to it?
I'll probably I'm trying to think what we did last time, because last time we broke 30.
Yeah.
And but yeah, it seemed to me that when we broke it last time, we had a powwow and we're like, okay, what do people want? And then we added it. So yeah, we'll cross that bridge. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. I always like to sort of err on the side of caution.
Yeah.
So if we break 25, if it goes gangbusters, we'll definitely figure something out, and we'll make it worth time. One of the things I would love to do, just because I would love to make a ton more stickers. I would love to do like because I'm a sticker fiend. I have stickers everywhere. I don't know. Have you ever seen my art board? Have you ever met at a convention? You ever come up to me at a convention?
No, I don't think you and I have ever met at a convention. I'm usually working table with so I don't get to travel a whole lot. Now, I've had. I don't even know. I'm not 100% we've ever been at the same convention.
Really? How did that happen? No, we've had to have been at the same convention.
Maybe, or if you were at C22 last year, we probably were. Or MegaCon last year.
Gosh, I know I've been to MegaCon. I know I've been to C2E2. I'm trying to think of when the last time I've been to C2E2 was probably 2018.
Nope, wasn't there.
Okay.
Yeah, first year there.
I guess it's possible that we've basically been swimming in the same parts of the ocean, just at different times. But
to be fair, I hadn't been swimming I've been playing in the kiddie pool for a long time. I just recently graduated to the deep end. So
okay. Well, my artboard, if you look at the back of my artboard, it's just it's one of these things you basically, if you're an artist, you always tote them around, and then when you go sit down at your table, you plump it in front of you, and it's basically your work desk.
Yeah.
And the whole back of my artboard is just like wallpapered, just with stratified layers of stickers. And so I love them, but I don't know if everyone has the same. Like I know plenty of parents to be like, you give my kid a sticker and I'm going to knife you. You know what I mean? It's gonna end up somewhere where it shouldn't be. But
well, I mean, that's one of the things we do too. I mean, with our germ, but where did I put those? We have stickers that we use as well, and part of it is just I don't see them now that I'm talking about them.
I know that's what happened to me. I'm like looking around my office trying to find my artboard, and for whatever reason, it's gone.
There's one. Okay, I was actually standing right in front of them and looking at them, and I couldn't see them. So part of it is you put them on there, and it's free advertising.
Yeah.
I mean, someone feels like going and vandalizing a stop sign with one of these, whatever. Go ahead. But we even got a QR code on it.
Well, even it shows, like people will come up to me and they'll have a sticker, like, "Where'd you get that sticker?" Yeah, that's the first thing out of my like, "Where'd you get that?" and the other thing that I love about it is they're like $1. You know what I mean? So like that would be something I'd love to do, is just have like 50 of them. Just like, here you go. Paint your room, drive your parents crazy,
Yes, because I whenever I buy a sticker book for my kids, I intentionally look for the ones without stickers.
Anyway, so and you know what? Honestly, Gemma probably has more of a plan about that than I do. I'm sort of like the workhorse, like I just want to draw.
Yeah.
I just, and I tell people that all the time. Like if I'm not drawing, something's wrong. Okay. If you have me doing something besides drawing, my talents are being wasted. And so I'm sure Gemma has a plan. Like if we hit 30, she has something big. But maybe I should call her and find out.
Well, we are approaching our cap for time here. We
Okay.
tried to keep that, actually we've hop skipped over our cap for time, but this is
Have we? Okay. Well, I appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, we usually try to keep it at 30 minutes, but I've been entertained. I don't know about the people watching, but I've been thoroughly entertained. So, and I guess at the end of the day, that's all that matters in my life. No. Anyways, real quick before we let you go, where can the viewers find you? Your Instagram, Twitter.
So my Instagram is Hardin_art. My Twitter is @ChadHardin. And I believe my Facebook is @ChadHardin as well.
Okay.
I missed the
Chad Wayne Hardin, I believe, is your Facebook.
Right. So yeah, I missed the whole internet anonymity class. I'm just like, yeah, it's me. Hey, steal my phone number and my address while you're at it. Here's my bank account. Anyway. So I'm pretty easy to find. On Discord though, my students name me, and I'm Overlord Meow Meow. So
Overlord Meow Meow.
Yeah, my students did that. They're like, here you go. So anyway,
right.
Yeah, find me on there. Appreciate it. Oh, and then Twitch TV /Chad Hardin. I stream every Wednesday and Sunday night from 7 to 9.
All righty. Well, Chad, I want to thank you for coming on, bud. And guys, go check out his Kickstarter tomorrow. Follow him on all the IG, all the Twitter sphere, and all that other mess. All that. Follow him on all of them so you can get the latest updates on all of his Kickstarter campaigns and everything, and whatever book he may be working on next.
Absolutely. I can tell you, but I have to tell you. Oh, Temerity on Webtoons. My heck, we just last night we had a 250,000 new reads.
Nice
on Webtoons. Okay, so that's right now. That's where I've been putting a lot of my energy. I can't believe I forgot to mention it, but yeah, Temerity for me it's a big deal. For everybody else, I'm like, what? Huh? To me it's a big deal. So yeah, but thank you guys. Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. All right. Well, I guess we'll try to get you back on for at least for the Chad Hardin sketchbook volume 4.
Hot baby dog.
All right, buddy. We'll see you next time.
Thank you so much. We'll see you guys. Be good. Wash your hands.
I refuse.
All right. Bye-bye.
Later, bud.